Hi guys, welcome to Code Decode. So in the previous video we have seen all the theoretical concepts about static polymorphism, dynamic polymorphism, overriding, overloading, type promotions and many more concepts. Now today in this video I'm going to show you all of these concepts in the practical implementation by giving an example. So today in this video I'm going to cover the static polymorphism, and basically I'm going to demonstrate 3 points, important points of the static polymorphism. That is how to implement polymorphism by first changing the number of arguments, secondly by changing the data types of those arguments, and the third point of demonstration will be that overriding and overloading cannot be done by changing only the return type of the method. So with these 3 points I'm going to conclude this video. So let's get started. So first let's create an example for method overloading. So in the code decode source folder I'm going to create a new class with overloading example, right? So what I've told you, overloading is nothing but keeping the method signature completely same and changing either the number of arguments or the type of arguments. So this is my method signature, public void add, and we have two formal arguments, that is a and b, and just for demonstration purpose I'm going to say that add method with two int arguments plus and apart with that I'm going to write let me do one thing. See, this is a string, right? And system.out.println always take a string argument, but I need to add my two numbers, so I have to put that in brackets. Why do I do that? Why do I keep a and b as a internal bracket in system.out.println? Because the first argument is string. So if the first argument is string, the Java automatically converts a and b into string and appends into each other. So if I put 1 and 2 as int a and int b, then this method will print add methods with two argument 1 2. It will not add a and b if I don't provide this parenthesis. So remember this concepts. It's just because I'm writing here, I'm showing you how. I'll show you how in a second, but understand the first overloading thing. So this is my add method with two arguments a and b. So how do I overload this? I overload this by keeping whole method signature same and by changing the number of arguments. So this is how I changed my number of arguments. So add method with three arguments a, b and c, and third way to implement the second way to implement overloading is by implementing the third argument by keeping public void add same, and with only int a int b it gives me a compile time error. It says rename method because it is duplicate. So if I convert it into long, so what it will be say that I'm okay with it. Why? Because this is the two ways you implement overloading. First is by changing the number of arguments. I've kept here 2, I've kept here 3. And second way to implement overloading is by changing the type of arguments. So this is how you overload one method. Keeping the method name same, I could have done void add 1, 2, 3, compile time error would not come. But what does method name depicts in Java? Method name depicts what is actually being written inside this method. And there is nothing written inside this method apart from adding two numbers. So my method name must be add only. But keeping the method name same, but even the arguments also same, will give me a compile time error. Hence, you can overload the same method by changing either the number of arguments or the type of arguments. I've shown you here how to. So this is how you overload without the compile time error is gone completely. And the third thing I want to show you in this demonstration is that I cannot overload a method with changing the return type only. So what will happen? Here it says great, but it's if I keep a and b as same, what will happen? It will give me some error. It says duplicate method int add int comma int. So can you see, the variables is what actually matters in overloading and not the return type. So if I keep it void, I keep it string, in any case it gives me compile time error that it is not allowed. So this is not allowed. I'll comment this for you. So these were the 3 demonstrations I want to give, like how to overload your method by keeping the number of arguments different, and by changing the type of argument will overload your method. And third thing, but just by changing the return type of method is not going to overload your method, and Java will give you a compile time error. So just to run this thing, I'll give you an example. I'll create an object for you equals to, new overloading, and given call to constructor. So this is how you have created a variable, and you're going to call dot. Now can you see 3 type of methods, overloaded methods, same name, different arguments, different type of arguments. So if I say 2, 3, so what do you think which method is called? By default, since you have not given any of the alphabet after this, it will automatically be integer in your case. So it will call this int a comma int b method. Second example of my overloading is by passing 3 arguments. So if I pass 2, 3, 4, then it will search, compiler will search with 3 argument add method. It finds, it says great. It will give compile time error now if you provide 4 arguments, comma 5. So it will give you compile time error. Why? Because it says method int is not applicable for 4 type of values. So either make it 3 or make it 2, but don't make it more than 2 or 3. So this is by changing number of arguments. And the third example was dot add with long. How do I create long? So 2, 3, and to make a variable long, I will put capital L. So by capital L, it converts my 3 value into long value. It searches here. Yes, I have B, which is long, which is of type long, and hence you can call this. Now I'll run this for you. What is expected? It says method with 2 argument is called, 2, 3, method with 3 arguments are called, 2, 3, 4, and again, okay, I've written something wrong here. It is 2 only. I'll change the description. Add method with 2 arguments, but one is long, one of them. But okay, not one, but B is long. Fine. So I'll run this for you, and with this you can see that add method with 2 arguments called 2, and it adds the number for you. Argument with 3 is called, and add method with 2 arguments is called, but B is long. So this is long, but at the end integer is being added with long, so integer is upcasted to long value, and then 5 is being printed as a long value. So this is how overloading works. So if you still find issues, because this is very simple thing, but if you still find issues, please tell me in the comment section. Thank you.